Welcome to the Sports Trading Card Hall of Fame's. I think this is my fourth book report for sports card channels. So this is the first time I've been able to do a themed book report for channels where originally when I got this started, I thought it'd be really cool to do my first channel or my first book report looking at channels run by women for sports cards, which is very unusual. I know of three channels. One of them I can't find. She did nothing but box rips, and she was in Florida. But at any rate, three channels are. I'll figure out what channel that was at some point. But three channels isn't enough to me to make a book report, so I'm pausing on that. And then I'm also working on sports card teachers that do sports card channels. And so that's another one. I've only got three at this point, so I'm not ready for that. But I did put together 5 channels for dads in sports cards. Don't worry, Dustin's not on this. But in terms of this group of channels, there are 4 of them are dads and kids. Emphasis on the kids component. But I was able to fill it out with one more because I've already done a couple of channels that have a father and son on it. So since they're already done, they weren't able to help fill this list out. But there is the Wax Pack Dad, which gives me the 5th channel for me to look at. But what I really love about this list is the last 2 channels are very distinct. They're very unique for what we do, which is, obviously I'll be getting around to that quite shortly. But since I've already introduced you to the first of the channels, the Wax Pack Dad, that's where I'm going to begin. This is a channel with about 1,500 subscribers, 220 videos. So he's done a really good job of connecting with his audience. And he does, I love the connection of the Wax Pack Dad, and his presence on camera very much has a dad kind of quality to it. So he's very much on brand. The channel's been around since 2011, but he's been doing videos for about 3 years. So it was an account prior to that. So he's been a long-time community member, doing with the focus on his pack rips is really the key to what he does. He's been doing this for quite a few years. And he does occasionally do something other than pack rips, which is usually regarding contests, either being involved in contests or heading contests. And Ryan is a Packers fan, and we will forgive him for that. And I do have to note, he has a faceless channel, but he does tend to do an on-camera intro to his videos. So he is in front of the camera quite a bit. So the second channel that I'm looking at is Hammie Sons. And now we're getting into father and son channels. And for Hammie Sons, this is what really makes this channel unique is the fact that the son, his name's been mentioned a couple of times. It's like Liam or something like that. I didn't quite catch it. So I'm not sure what his name is, but he is actually a quarterback, I believe in high school. So normally when we have a father and a son, the son tends to be pretty young, heading into high school. So he's usually a preteen. In this case, he's quite a bit older. So you hear a very different voice, and his engagement is different than we normally see. But this is a faceless channel, although Hammie does show up on camera from time to time. Great beard, by the way. And I'll get into that, the main reason for that in just a minute. But yeah, most of the time it is a faceless channel, and they love doing pack rips. That's really the key to what they do for the core of the channel. And football is their key, partially because the son does play it, also partially because they're big Packers fans. But I mentioned about the thing about him being on camera. So Hammie is a retired Marine. Thank you for your service. Really appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. But unfortunately, he suffers from PTSD, and this is something that he is thankfully doing a really good job of addressing. So much so that it's become a cause for him, and that's why I bring it up, because he brings it up. He makes a big deal out of it. And personally, I do have a friend who is a retired Marine who also suffers from PTSD. And so, working with him through it, I can, and he doesn't have it really heavy, but he sees it around him as well. Hammie, obviously, that's a big part of his life. And unfortunately, so the issue with PTSD for people in the military is when you're in the military, it's a shut up and focus on your job affair. It is literally about you got to block out distractions and just do your job, which is fine for that job. It's rough, but that's the job. But at some point, you have to transition into civilian life. And when you do that, your world is completely different. And that's a rough go. And a lot of military members aren't able to make that work. There is a very short shelf life for veterans, which is tragic. And PTSD is a big part of that. And so Hammie has been using his channel in part to get the message out. He's very involved with it. And it's not like he's doing a ton of videos, but he's doing enough videos where he's putting his effort. He's trying to make the contribution he can where he can, and I really appreciate the fact that he is taking that effort. And I also got to note that the sports card community has very thankfully been a contributor to help him to make that transition. Before I move on, I also need to note the basics, which is there are about 700 subscribers on this channel. There are about 300 videos, and the account's been around since 2013, but he's been making videos for about 2 years, or they've been making videos for about 2 years. So yeah, that's Hammie Son, and there's not a good way to transition away from that to any other channel, so I'm just gonna head right over to Cash and Dad's Packbusters. This is a much more popular channel, 3,500 subscribers. They have about 700 videos, and they've been around since 2020 making videos. This is a pack grip channel, and as well as TTMs, so they like doing that a lot as well. It's almost entirely faceless. The father and the son, though, do have they do show up on camera from time to time because they're a rock band. Literally, drums and guitar. They are a rock band. And every once in a while, they have jam sessions, and I love watching them go at it. They also have great rock star personalities, but they're really good at rocking out. So that is a really fun addition to their presence on camera. But also, he is a big fan of the military and big supporter. So yeah, it's a great channel to follow up Hammie Sons. And one other note, big Gardner Minshew collector. Really a big Gardner Minshew collector, which is it's pretty interesting. Now, the fourth channel is RDJ3 Video and Sports Cards. It's quite a name. So, 1,000 subscribers, 2,800 videos, and the channel's been around since 2009. And the reason for all of that is because this is a channel that started off as basically home videos. He liked making videos, editing videos, so it was just a fun little hobby for him. But things changed quite a bit down the road because he turned it into a sports card channel where he rips packs with his daughter. He's rich, she's Hope, and it is so much themed around him doing this with his daughter that the stand is pink. How often do you find, I mean, it's incredibly rare that you find women in sports cards here in our corner of the YouTube. Daughters, seeing a father and a daughter being able to have a project together is such a refreshing thing to see. It's really, really cool. Now, she is young, so I don't know if she's going to stick with it, if she's going to develop a personality. You know, right now, it is basically like an extension of home videos. They're just doing this for fun, and I really like the fact that they're able to do this. And we'll see how long they're able to keep this going on, but a father-daughter project is just a really, really touching thing. But the last channel is actually another really unusual channel. Chris and Chris Collecting Cards. They got about 700 subscribers, about 500 videos. They've actually got quite a few up. And this is a channel, the account's been around since 2013. They've been making videos for about 5 years. And So what makes this interesting is this is 100% faceless. Well, you can't really say that about the previous one because he had home videos, but in this case, totally faceless. And it is the father and is the son, Chris and Chris. And yet in recent times, the mom's gotten involved too. So you hear three voices going on. The father is really the one at the lead. This is really his project. His son is essentially color commentary, which is really cool. But hearing the mom involved as well all the time and hearing that they've basically turned it into a family project is really interesting. It's a really cool contribution to the sports card community. And I this is another one of those cases where I'm really glad that they're able to do this in a really cohesive way. I've already seen another channel where a dude and his wife do a lot of the videos together, and so seeing that connection is really good. But here it's just, you get to see that it's a family affair. And while they did start off doing pack rips early on, most of what they're doing right now is TTMs, just trying to get basically as many autographs as they can. And that brings these channels to a close. So these are 5 channels that all have, they're all very, very, very unique in comparison to each other. So it's fun to see especially with the different personalities of how these channels are created and the contributions that they have, to see this wonderful variety. And so I had a lot of fun exploring these different channels. Hopefully soon I'll be able to get the teachers one done. I assume there are 2 other channels that are really strong, themed around teachers, that I'll be able to find. We'll see how that goes. But at any rate, for my 4th book sports card channel book report, these are the channels they had. Thank you very much for following along, and I hope that 1 or 2 of these channels is something that you find kind of interesting. So yeah, definitely check the rest of that out. And I am back into my 3rd season of the Sports Trading Card Hall of Fame. So check out those videos as they come out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.